Here we go. It's episode 540. It's already 540.
That's incredible.
Right? There's a lot of episodes. I don't play around. We're going for the 1,000. The goal is to have more than Rogan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, yeah, you're catching up.
Right? Nice and slow. Let's get into it. We got the wife here.
Hello.
She's all the way laid back today. She has a blanket on her. Look at you, a blanket. You got your foot up. What's going on with you? Today, we are going into something that stood out to her.
I love this one.
Right? And it seems...
Which is dark, but it's entertaining.
It seems weird. And that's what I wanted. Because we were just talking about BlackRock and Blackstone buying up 20 million people's DNA from Ancestry. Was it Ancestry.com?
Yeah.
Or Ancestry. It's so sad to think about. So let's just cool off with a disastrous hiking trip.
That's a crazy story.
Let's get into it. What is this? What's it called? And what's like the premise of everything?
Well, it's called the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Okay.
And basically what happened was 9 experienced hikers went into the Ural Mountains, which is in northern Russia.
Okay.
And about a week later, after they started on their expedition, they all died.
A week later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of a couple different things. So their expedition was supposed to come back at a certain date. And when they didn't arrive, they sent up rescue parties.
Okay.
So their bodies and the campsite were found about a little over 3 weeks after their death.
Okay. And now we're getting into basically all the weirdness that surrounds
There's
these
a
people.
ton of weirdness.
Okay. So let's get into that. But first, of course, so you think I wasn't going to bring you to IamCoachColin.com to show you the greatest anti-establishment clothing known to man? Of course not. Personal favorite, this man we were just talking about last episode. And I think this last episode we just did solidifies this man is public enemy number 1.
For sure.
Straight up, the cricket connoisseur himself. The next one is the certified pureblood. For those of you that survived the psychological experiment that was thrust upon us all and came out of it unscathed and untainted. This is your certificate of achievement. You can go and get that at the website as well. And the original Soul Not for Sale. It's just a great statement for those of you that don't want to sell your soul for money and fortune, like we've seen so many of these celebrities that people worship like false idols do. All of that is available at IamCoachColin.com. And if you want 10% off, no problem. Here it is. No email sign up. I'm giving it to you right now. Put in the discount code IamCoachColin. That's all capital letters, all one word, 1 L in the name Colin, and that gets you 10% off. And if you've chosen to do that with us already, thank you. You're much appreciated. Tank tops, men and women, t-shirts, men and women, hoodies, and you can thank her for all of that. She's great.
Thanks, Danny.
So let's get into it. What's up?
Yeah. So I told you all 9 of them died.
And let me know when you want the videos played.
Okay, will do.
Okay.
So the causes of death were a little bit different. So 6 of them, the cause of death was hypothermia, which is what you can probably expect.
Yeah.
And then 3 of them had blunt force trauma.
Okay.
So 2 of them had their chests crushed. And 1 of them had his skull crushed.
Okay.
Which doesn't make any sense considering what they were doing. But the whole thing is just a shit show.
And it was in Russia.
Yeah. Up in the mountains somewhere.
Okay.
So once the rescue party was sent up, it was actually a student who found the site and the tent where they were supposed to be staying overnight. And the student said the tent was half torn down and covered with snow. And it was empty except for all of the group's belongings and shoes that had been left behind.
Really?
Yeah, they left all their stuff. Can you open that article with the picture of the tent so we can take a look?
So everything, their shoes were left behind?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this picture of the tent really kind of got me because everybody was like, oh, it was an avalanche. It was an avalanche. But like you'd think if it was an avalanche, there'd be like so much more snow.
Yeah.
Like it would be totally covered. Like if it was something that was dangerous enough for them to run out of the tent, they actually cut open a hole in the tent from the inside to escape.
And then ran out with no shoes or anything.
But the weird part is their footprints, they weren't running. They walked with no shoes away from this tent after they cut a hole from the inside to escape.
Okay.
Just very weird.
So, well, right away, I mean, you're going to go on, but that to me seems like someone cut a hole from the outside and marched them out. That's
I don't really know
like
why. I don't know how you could tell if it was cut from the inside or the outside, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're assuming it was from the inside, I would assume it's from the outside. And something or someone was like, let's go.
Well, you'd think that, but there were only 9 sets of tracks.
Okay.
Like, there was no animal tracks.
Oh, there was no other track.
Yeah. And no, like, other humans up there.
Okay.
So their initial thought was there was an Aboriginal group called the Mansi.
The Mansi?
Yep, who live in these mountains. And they're kind of like a caribou tracking nomadic kind of Aboriginal group. And they're not always friendly to locals and people being on their land.
Okay.
So they thought they were killed by this group. But again, without any other tracks, it's impossible. And they talked to the Mansi and they denied it, of course.
The Mansis were like, we did not do this?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even find anything on them.
Mansi. I don't think it's a very large group. It's just in the Ural Mountains in Russia. Mansi. But yeah, so that was crazy. And they ended up finding the bodies in a couple different places. So on the first expedition that went up, when they found the tent, they found kind of at the edge of a forested area that was 1.5 kilometers from the tent. They found 2 guys who were in their underwear around the remains of a fire.
Okay.
So they were there and they were under this big pine tree. And the pine tree had evidence of somebody trying to climb up the tree.
Okay.
Yeah. Super weird. Whatever. And then also, so between the pine tree and the tent, they found 3 more of the bodies. Like they were trying to get back to the tent. They were kind of going in that direction.
Okay.
And then the other 4 bodies weren't discovered until over 2 months later because they had fallen into a ravine where there was like a creek running, but there was so much snow on top of the creek that they didn't find them because it was like 13 feet of snow.
Did they go crazy?
Yeah, it's possible.
But don't you go crazy under like when you're like hypothermic? I know when you're hypothermic, people want to take their clothes off.
Yes.
Because like the last stage is they get hot or something.
Yes, that is true. But then the ones that they found in the ravine, they had scavenged the clothes that were on the other bodies. So they found like clothes that belonged to other people on these ones in the ravine.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So it might have happened to a couple of them, like the guys around the fire. Maybe they took their clothes off, but it also could have happened that they had already passed away and these other ones just took advantage and took their clothes off.
Maybe.
It's impossible to tell.
Okay.
Okay. So I know it's crazy already, but there's more stuff going on.
Are these pictures that I'm showing you, are these the Mansi people?
I can't tell.
I
don't really know what they look like.
They're just Mansi. Like I keep finding Mansi and they're covered in snow and they look like they're in a mountain area.
Yeah. Another thing with the Mansi is they make these structures out of twigs. It almost looks like kind of a teepee, like triangular structure, just out of twigs and with antlers on top.
Okay.
And it's used to mark a site of a sacrifice. And there was one nearby.
Whoa.
That's why they thought it was the Mansi.
These people sacrifice what? People?
I think animals typically.
Oh, wow.
Like the caribou.
And then they set up what? Twigs?
Yeah, it's like bigger though. Like it's like
an effigy of some kind.
Yeah.
I guess if that's the right word. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And they found one of those nearby.
It was, I think, like 400 meters or something away from where they were camping for the night. But again, there were no tracks or anything. So unless they flew in.
But I don't know. Maybe they figure out how to cover their tracks.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know, it would be smart. You do all that stuff, and then you have some guys at the top of the mountain that cause like a little mini avalanche.
Yeah.
That's
But
what you do.
even if they did that and they found ways to totally erase their tracks, the blunt force that was exhibited on the people who had like chest trauma and head trauma was more than a human can produce.
Okay. Oh, this is a part where I was like, giants. Giants.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's Russia in the mountains. And if Russia had giants, they'd never tell us.
Yeah.
They would never tell the public. They would just experiment and try and make them into super soldiers.
Yeah.
Not even tell us.
Do you want to play that first clip I sent you?
Oh, okay, sure.
Because that one's talking about...
well, don't tell me. Which clip? Okay. Which, is it the earliest one? 21
the earliest,
minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go 21 minutes. Pull this up.
I love how everything's a surprise.
With little to go off of in terms of rational theories, many have began looking to the supernatural as a cause for this tragedy, and the main talking point is typically the Yeti. Perhaps a large and violent creature was living in the remote area of the Dyatlov Pass, and it took issue with the hikers being in its territory. This would explain why the hikers fled, and could also explain their unusual injuries. Now, this is a theory that I have never been very fond of, as the whole thing just kind of seems baseless. But doing a little more research on it, I've discovered why this theory has become so popular. As previously mentioned, multiple cameras were found at the campsite that belonged to the hikers. This photograph was taken at some point before the hikers had perished, but was generally taken in the area that they set up camp. After analysis, this photo has been completely proven to be 100% real, and the image has not been doctored in any way. What is seen on this photograph is widely open to interpretation. Personally, just looking at it without context, this really does look like some kind of Yeti Bigfoot creature, but others swear that it just looks like a man in snow gear. This image is haunting, and it only adds to the intrigue of this mystery. However, despite this looking somewhat like a Yeti, this theory still falls flat in many ways. The glaring issue here is that there were no footprints. Yetis are literally cold weather Bigfoots, and not a single footprint of that thing was found. And it also doesn't totally explain the radiation found on the hiker's clothing. But considering we really don't know anything about Yetis, perhaps they give off some sort of radiation. But because of the lack of tracks and no real evidence other than the photograph, this remains just another theory at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, there's radiation on the clothes.
Yeah, so on one of the hikers,
that doesn't make sense.
They found radiation on their clothes. Just one, though.
I wonder. Just one. Radiation on the clothes. That picture alone.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's an amazing
right?
picture. And the fact that it's real. Like, anybody who's into Bigfoot is obviously, they love this picture.
Unless it's like one of their fellow hikers and they were just taking a picture of them hiking through the woods, you know?
Nah. Why
you
would
don't think
do
so?
that? I don't know. It doesn't. The thing is, it looks very big. Just in comparison.
But there's nothing like
it looks very, very
to
big.
scale there.
Well, it's next to a tree.
Yeah.
It's next to two trees. It's in between two trees. And I guess you take a picture thinking that maybe I have no idea.
It's crazy though, eh?
But I did go to Giants. I said that before you even showed me this.
Yeah.
You tell me someone went to the mountains, nobody knows how they die, and they have a car crash amount of blunt trauma to their body.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Giants every time.
Yeah, incredible.
This is weird. So what else? What else happened?
Okay, well, there was a guy who was named Yuri, who was 12 years old at the time that these people went missing and passed away.
Okay.
And he later became the head of the Dyatlov Foundation because he was so interested in what was going on and what happened to them. And he actually attended 5 of the hikers' funerals because he was kind of a local in the area. And he recalled that their skin had a deep brown tan.
What?
Which is really weird.
A deep brown tan?
That's what he described.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, and then let me see. I had another note about it.
You know what? At the end of the day, I mean, it's Russia. Russia might just be like, let's just test this on these people.
Yeah.
I think Russia did some kind of testing in terms of bombs and, like, didn't even tell people.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
So there's a theory that alleges that they were testing radiological weapons.
Okay.
And it's based partly on the discovery of some radioactivity on some of the clothing, as well as descriptions of the bodies by relatives as having orange skin, the dark tan, and gray hair. I guess that's a side effect of like radiation burns or radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
Is a skin color
pigment.
change.
You take the pigment out of your hair, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Wow.
Well, that's crazy, eh?
Yeah, because Russia would again, they would do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
especially up in the mountains when there's not really supposed to be people there.
Yeah, they would just find people and just be like, whatever. Or like plan to do it in that area and there's people there and they're just like, so what? Whatever.
Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep doing it.
See what happens.
Yeah, exactly. We needed to test it on people anyway.
Yeah. And then there was another speculation that the campsite fell within the path of a Soviet parachute mine exercise. So those are the bombs. So instead of like landmines, they were being dropped in parachuting from the sky. And so these wouldn't explode when they hit the ground, but just in midair.
Why?
I don't know. That's what they were testing, supposedly.
Maybe for planes or maybe just to...
Yeah, just to like pepper over armies.
I guess shrapnel everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So the theory alleges that the hikers would have been woken by loud explosions, obviously panic and run, and then a couple of them might have got hit or something by the blowback.
Yeah.
And that's why they had the trauma.
Whew. That's weird.
Yeah.
So that's more likely than giants. Sorry, guys. Sorry for everybody that wanted giants.
That's probably more likely than giant.
Yeah. Russia. They'll just test weapons on people. With ease.
And there was also reported sightings of glowing orange orbs floating or falling in the sky within the general vicinity of the hikers and allegedly photographed by them. And this was, let me see, I had who actually said this. It was like, there was local, like somebody else hiking, I think it was like 50 kilometers away or
somebody
something.
Nearby saw something.
Yeah, there were multiple reports, including that of military personnel.
Huh. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's very weird.
Crazy, eh?
What a terrible hike.
Literally the worst.
Yeah, like the worst place, the worst timing, everything.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, and here's the thing. You know what I would love to know? I would love to know who those people were and what they had going on.
The people who were hiking?
Yeah.
They were all students.
Well, maybe some
except
of them.
one, for some reason.
What was one? Just like a person?
Yeah.
Maybe they had something going on, you know? Like, you know how everybody talks about the Titanic? Like, a lot of important people got on the ship. And I think it was like Rockefeller or JP Morgan. They were supposed to be on it too. And they were like, no. And then everybody who passed away was like people who were standing in front of something that they were trying to do. Maybe it was something with the Federal Reserve. I'm not 100% sure. But there was a bunch of very rich, powerful people that were standing in the way of this.
Yeah.
And those people all died. So I wonder if these guys were hiking and all of them maybe they were doing research they shouldn't be doing. Maybe they're questioning things they shouldn't be questioning.
Or getting too close to something important.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it did say they went off path by accident because there was like a storm. So the place where they were camping was not on the path that they had been approved.
Oh.
Because they have to like get their path and everything signed off on by whatever town they're leaving from.
Oh.
So maybe that's what happened. Because they got pushed off from the path that they were on.
And then they were like in no man's land.
Yeah.
International waters.
Kind of.
Where anything could happen.
Yeah. There was a police officer who led the official inquest in 1959. So he was an investigator on the case. And in 1990, he published an article that included his admission that the investigation team had no rational explanation for the incident. And he also stated that after his team reported that they had seen flying spheres, he then received direct orders from high-ranking regional officials to dismiss the claim.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, to dismiss what claim?
That they had seen flying spheres.
Oh, really?
Yeah. which is a little bit different than glowing orbs.
Flying spheres?
Yeah.
Glowing orbs?
So now we're
Same-
seeing all crazy stuff in the sky.
Same thing basically. I mean, a sphere, a globe,
Yeah.
same kind of thing. It's still, either way, it's weird. But to dismiss it is what's the really weird part.
And being told to dismiss it.
Yeah. Because that's what's been happening to United States Army people for the longest time.
Yeah.
They see all sorts of things and they're told to just like, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Whew.
sure.
That's fun. Leave it to a lady picking the topic for it to be like a murder mystery type of thing. Of course. Of course.
True.
But what else?
Let me see.
What else was
we
going
got?
on there?
There is so much. It's
When
absolutely
did this
insane.
happen also? Was Putin in power?
1959. I don't think so.
No,
No, he would have been
1959.
too young.
I think he's been ruling for maybe 20
Unless he
years.
was like 8 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have been young. He was KGB before he was in power.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's how he got into power. You know who Putin was like? What's that guy's name that pretty much was like around JFK when he died? That created Operation Northwoods.
Oh,
but
Kissinger?
No, the other guy, the Mason, the high-level Mason,
Oh, my God.
Lissinger,
Yeah.
Lime Lissinger or something.
He's something like that. Oh, my God. It's going to bug me. I know exactly who you mean.
That high-ranking general.
It'll come to me.
That's exactly who Putin was.
Lyman something.
Yeah, Lyman something.
I always want to say Lannister, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's
Lemnitzer.
Lemnitzer. There you go. Yeah, high-ranking army official, general, high-ranking Mason, Freemason.
Yeah.
That's what like Putin was like highly respected within the ranks of all that stuff, and then just took power.
That's crazy.
So imagine if that guy just like JFK passed away and he was just like, I'm president now.
Yeah.
I'm stepping in. And just like everybody respected him. So, as long as the army respects you enough, you can like just kind of insert yourself.
Yeah.
Because all the politicians are basically just meat puppets,
Mm.
you know?
And then there was also a 10th guy who was supposed to go on this hiking expedition.
And you didn't go.
He left with them.
Okay.
But a day later, because he had some like medical issues, so he was experiencing a lot of joint pain and didn't think he could continue, so he turned back on his own. And I was like trying to look up this guy and see if there's anything fishy, but he was just like a professor of economics and led a very quiet life, like never even married.
Really?
Yeah.
He was like Vladimir Putin Sr.
Never know. Yeah, his name is Yuri Yudin.
Oh, that's his actual name.
Yeah.
Yuri Yudin.
Yeah.
Come on, comment section. Help us out here.
Yeah, and he
Yuri
lived
Yudin.
until 2013.
Really?
Yeah. And then passed away.
Oh,
Because they were all like 20 something, early 20s for the most part.
That makes sense.
There was one who was 38 who was just like a random hiker who went with them.
How do you spell Yudin?
Yudin.
D-I-N. Yuri Yudin. All right, so that's pretty wild.
Yeah, right?
This case is the first thing that comes up.
Of course.
How old was he when he died? What does he think happened? Friends stumbled across a military exercise and that the Soviet government bore the responsibility of the loss. That's what he believed. He believed it was a military exercise.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That makes sense. What were the bombs that they tested? Did you look at that at all?
Yeah, remember there were the parachute mines?
No, but like Russia did other stuff like that.
Oh, I don't know.
I hope it's Russia and not the U.S.
Never know.
Testing bombs on people. Yeah, they did. Sparks concerns. Yeah, they were doing all sorts of weird stuff.
Mm.
Either country has done maybe Moscow's agenda. No, it doesn't say here. But what else you got for this whole thing?
Well, there's also a horror movie that was made out of this whole story called Devil's Pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Devil's Pass was based on this?
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
And I've watched this movie, and I swear to God we watched it together, but you don't think so.
No, because I don't watch horror movies.
But it was actually like, it was really scary. And it was like a found footage movie, like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Where this group of like documentary students wanted to go up to the pass and see like what happened and do a documentary on it. And then a bunch of crazy stuff happened to them. That was the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
It was scary.
I don't think I watched that. Because I don't like seeing things like that.
Yeah, no, it was horrible.
I don't like things playing into my head like that. I think there's a lot of purpose behind them making horror movies. Ooh. Sometimes it's just for fun or whatever, but there's something to your mind taking in that type of imagery.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it may not be real, but a lot of the times your brain doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Between what's real and what's not. And once I learned that, I was like, I gotta stop watching horror movies.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I'm like, what do I need that around?
I know, I agree. I don't like it.
I just like fun stuff.
Do you want to play that second clip I sent you?
Yeah, I'm going to play it right now.
Perfect.
It's only 35 seconds.
Yeah, it's just a quick explanation of something else.
Let's go into that.
That the area around the Dyatlov Pass produces low-frequency wind, which creates what is known as a Kármán vortex street. This ultra-low frequency is said to cause panic attacks to many of those who experience it. So maybe the hikers heard this and fled their tent due to this paranoia. And by the time they made it down the mountain, they realized their mistake, but it was too late. Now obviously again, this doesn't explain how the hikers suffered such grotesque injuries, and it really just falls flat as well. But I also tend to have a hard time believing these psychological theories, simply because of the number of people present at the time of this tragedy. For all 9 hikers to have experienced the same psychological phenomenon, and for all of them to react in the same way seems incredibly unlikely. No two minds are alike, so the idea that all 9 of them would collectively act in a way that would surely get them killed doesn't make any sense. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That's what I was thinking as well about like the taking the clothes off when you get cold with hypothermia. Mm-hmm. Like it's like that doesn't happen to everybody. So
really?
A lot of people were saying they call it infrasound, like infrared light, but infrasound.
Okay.
And it's just like a certain frequency that whips around the mountains there that can cause like anxiety and headaches and panic attacks.
Really?
Yeah. But I feel like the likelihood that all 9 of them would have experienced that is extremely low.
Yeah, that is weird. That's very weird.
And again, it goes back to the footsteps in the snow too. Like if somebody was, even if they were all having panic attacks, you think they'd be running. Mm-hmm. But they just marched out of there.
Just marched out. Huh.
Crazy, eh?
I have no idea.
I saw another guy's theory that was kind of interesting. And he said he is an avid hiker and has gone up like on mountain passes like that before. And you always have to have somebody still awake in the tent, mm-hmm. because when it's that cold, you need to have like a wood burning stove.
Okay.
To keep you warm in the tent.
Yeah.
And the person who is watching the stove is there to make sure that it's like the wood's being fed into it, like it's still going, but also they have a knife on them so that if, God forbid, it catches the tent on fire, you cut out the piece
that's on
fire.
And then this, okay.
Yeah. So they were thinking maybe that could be what happened and why that was cut from the inside. And then if there's a hole in your tent, you can't stay.
See, here's the thing. I would say mushrooms, but there's no footprints. Because mushrooms will have everybody do some weird stuff. You'll take off some clothes. Like, you would definitely... I could see people in a situation where one person takes off their clothes and another person puts them on in mushrooms. That could happen. That could easily happen. Yeah, or one person's like, I'm kind of cold, and another person's like, you can have all my clothes, man. And they just start taking off their clothes, and they're like, no. And they're like, oh, and they start putting on your buddy's clothes.
Yeah.
It's a very possible thing.
Yeah.
I've loved people enough to do that for them.
That's so funny.
Wow. Very interesting.
There's a lot of theories.
The mysteries of Russia. I have no idea what that could be.
Yeah.
I stick to giants. I'm going to go back to giants. That's an odd one.
Oh, and then...
Only because of the trauma. I guess you could say bombs.
Yeah.
And I guess when you look at that other picture that you showed.
With the tent?
Yeah. Because that looks... But it doesn't look blown up.
No. And also, like, this is besides the point. But can you imagine 9 people sleeping in that tent?
Yeah, why not?
What? It's so small.
Yeah, but they don't care.
But I guess it's better to have the body heat when it's that cold.
Yeah. Plus, you're all friends. Like, why not?
Yeah, weird. I forgot to tell you one of the craziest things. In 2018, one of the bodies was exhumed.
In 2018?
Yes.
Why?
So very recently. I don't know why. It just said that this like newspaper that was kind of like a tabloid, there was like a reporter looking into it and they found evidence that they needed to investigate more. And with whatever evidence, it was enough to exhume the body and do some testing.
Oh, wow.
So they tested the DNA
Okay.
of the body, and the DNA didn't match any of his living relatives.
What?
Yeah.
You should have led with that. What does that
Well, I
mean?
like to leave the craziest shit to the end.
Why? Wait, what?
Yeah. So they brought this body up, tested his DNA, and it doesn't say he's related to any of his relatives. But they also did a facial reconstruction with like whatever computer simulation as they do, and it matched the photos of him post World War II
Yeah.
that they had. So his face was
His face.
his face, but his
The
DNA
DNA was
wasn't his
not.
DNA.
Wow. That's a very interesting part.
So then they were thinking too that somebody was like took his place or something after World War II. They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone took his place. No. I don't know. I was going to say, can radiation like change your DNA to that extent?
I don't think
feel
so.
like it
I think it would
could.
damage the
Yeah, it can
DNA, but
degrade
not.
it. But couldn't you degrade DNA until it didn't match up anymore? I don't know. And just to say, in this picture here, is this not like that little thing you're talking about? Like, that looks like a cross. That doesn't look like part of their tent.
No, it was like much further away.
That's weird. Because that doesn't, like, it looks like the tent's immediately, like, here. That looks like it's further off. I can't tell.
Yeah.
And it's a cross. Like, it's an exact cross.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's a crazy one, and there's a lot of theories, and it's been, what is that, like 60 years almost?
Yeah. Right?
And nobody actually knows what happened to these people.
And their families don't know.
No.
Families can't find out.
No. And can you imagine being the family of the person they exhumed?
Well,
It just opens more questions.
yeah, that's true.
That the DNA isn't of your family.
But the face matched
Yeah.
and the head, but I guess the body,
Well, I'm assuming it would be mostly skeleton.
yeah. So you can switch out. You can switch out body and keep the head.
Yeah. I don't know
That's
where they
very
tested
weird.
the DNA from.
Yeah, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, but it was very strange.
And it does kind of have hints of like the Russian government. Like
Yeah.
they would be like, whatever.
And then the
Yeah, it's
government
not the DNA. So what?
reopened the investigation the next
Really?
year in 2019.
And said
it-
what?
Nothing, that it's under investigation, and they haven't closed it since.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right?
That's amazing. And now they definitely don't care. They're at war.
Yeah, no.
It's done.
No,
That whole thing's done.
of course not.
So they
They'll
did.
never look at it again. They probably did that to appease the public.
And who knows? They could have done some weird tests with these people. Like, you have no idea. Like, I mean, if the U.S. was testing LSD on soldiers, like, what was
True.
Russia doing? Russia, you know, there was always a race in order to keep up and do the things and control. And so maybe they were like, okay, we're going to try this other thing. Yeah, we couldn't get their formula for acid that they have, but we have this formula.
Yeah.
Let's give it to these people. And let's put it in the wind.
Oh my
We can
God.
put it in the air and we'll see how they act.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why there's no footprints, extra ones.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Very, very interesting. You got anything else?
No, that was everything.
That was a fun date night.
Yeah.
I like.
So what theory is most plausible to you? You said Yetis?
Well, once I see that picture, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say Yetis, of course. And then once I see how everything's smashed, because a bomb's gonna not do that, like what we're looking at here. A bomb's not doing that. A bomb's gonna desecrate that.
Yeah.
A bomb's gonna have everything everywhere. And it's gonna be nuts. I also feel like a bomb's gonna kill some of those Manese people.
Manzi, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to kill some of them as well. So a bomb
True.
doesn't make sense. But now, if you go to Yeti, right, if we think about that, do I have that pulled up still? If we go to Yeti, when you think about that, maybe this guy gets along with those people. He leaves them alone. They understand how to keep him at bay. But now all of a sudden there's some new people and they have no idea how to keep him at bay.
Maybe that's what the sacrifice is too.
Oh, yeah, that too, right? You have to give it fat sacrifices.
Yeah, of caribou so they can eat.
Yeah. Instead of giving it caribou, or just, this guy just stumbled across.
Oh.
And they were like, perfect, this is the sacrifice. And they
yeah, because there was that thing close by.
Yeah.
So maybe he thought that was the thing.
Yeah, right?
Oh, scary.
Right? There you go. It's very possible.
Crazy story when the most plausible is Yeti.
Right? I mean, I don't know. That's just my thinking towards it. It would just make sense. And I know Bigfoot and everything. It's very dumb to a lot of people, but there's so many species we don't know about.
Yeah, of course.
There's so many. And again, you guys know me. I'm going to talk about Hollow Earth. There could easily be some underground thing that you
especially
don't know
in
about.
like mountains when there's already cave systems.
Right? We have to do an episode about like mountains being petrified cities.
Yeah.
Being petrified
and
buildings.
trees.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't know. So he could easily have some kind of system that he's inside a mountain. Just go deep. You stay deep inside this mountain. You come out every now and then. You go back in. Or you're the protector of the entrance. Right? You have no idea. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Like if you really think about each person, like everybody who feels like they know, they know, oh, I'm pretty sure about this. Like I see people in the comments, like I had Joe Rogan reading the Bible and they're like, this is actually what the Bible's saying. It's like, you don't know what the Bible's saying. It was written in ancient Hebrew.
Yeah.
You have no idea what the Bible's saying.
And translated so many times.
Yeah.
It's like broken telephone.
You have no idea what these things are, but everybody's just so sure. Think about what you really know in terms of where you are right now, in terms of what you actually know about the world. When people sit around and they say, the world is for sure flat, the world is for sure round, how much of the world have you even seen? How have you seen it? Have you just drove around? Have you sailed a little bit? Like, what have you done to really be so sure? How many species? Think about that. How many species have you seen eye to eye?
True.
How many species have you seen eye to eye?
Probably just a couple dozen. If
maybe
not.
10? Eye to eye? You can count birds and squirrels if you want. But how many things have you seen, really? How many places have you been? How many places have you explored and dug around for months and months trying to find things?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that guy that was on Joe Rogan recently, that Amazon explorer. That guy went from the United States all the way to the Amazon. And he lives in the Amazon, and he preserves that land constantly. He has seen hundreds of species when it comes to bugs, but when it comes to like mammals and lizards, he's seen a couple dozen.
Yeah.
How many more things are there to see in the world? Like what does anybody actually know?
Yeah.
You know? You don't know what other things there are. What person right now is exploring every mountain trying to find out if there's any entrances into these mountains and trying to go underground and see what's underground and see if they can find anything?
No.
What person's doing that? There's no people doing that. There's none. And every person who's like a Bigfoot enthusiast, they're not doing shit either.
No, they're just looking at internet stuff.
They're looking at internet stuff. Some of them are in the forest. They leave a little bit of food. The food disappears and they're like, oh, that was Bigfoot. Bigfoot took my food. Yeah. And there's like a raccoon behind them.
And there's like a smudge in the ground that's big and they're like, Bigfoot.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. You gotta, it could be anything. We don't even like, and then I'm talking about other species. Think about how many people you've seen. True. You don't even know about all the people there are in the world. You haven't even interacted with a huge amount of them. And you never will. You'll never see all of the world. You'll never interact with all of the species, all of the people. The ocean.
Oh my God.
Like,
I hate the ocean.
Like you have no idea what's out there. So, Yeti. Okay? I say all that to say Yeti. Okay?
Yeah.
Can't argue it. You never know.
I think it was military.
It could be military. I mean, it has the markings of military. It's just odd that they would like open it up again. Yeah. I feel like the Russian government, they have a grip enough on their people that when something happens and everybody's like, I want to know about this, they're just like, no, we're not telling you.
Yeah.
And I feel like they would be upfront about it too. I feel like they'd be upfront about it and might even admit it. Yeah, we were testing there and they weren't supposed to be there. Sorry. I feel like because they have that type of power to do that.
I just don't think they would admit it if it was like, because it would have happened during Cold War times.
Why? So what?
So everybody was very secretive about what they were doing in terms of military testing.
But I feel like they would admit it now.
Maybe.
That's why I'm like saying that the fact that they opened it up again is weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I feel like now at all times with Putin in power and the way things are, that they would just be like, it's none of your business. And we're never opening this up again. We're not wasting our money. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like you could also just, so they didn't open it up until after that body was found and those tests were done, or exhumed, sorry. And they opened it up after that. And then what, like a year later, they went to war?
Yeah, something like
they
that.
knew they were going to war.
I guess. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I feel like, and again, I should also say in the same breath, like, what do I know about Russia? Like, everything we know is being very,
it's propaganda.
Yeah, it's being very washed. For all I know, they're just as free as we are right now.
True.
But they're not. There's no way they are. They're not. They're not. I play a lot of Call of Duty. I would have ran into a Russian guy in Call of Duty at least once. I hear a lot of different languages. You never hear Russian. And we definitely never get any Russia orders. You know how shocked I'll be if we get an order from Russia? I'll be shocked. I'm gonna call that person. If we get one order from Russia, I'm calling him. I want to know what it's like over there. I got a lot of Russian friends here, but nah.
Not there.
I want to talk to a real one that's never been here. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, military makes sense too. How about this? Because being married is all about compromising. You know? It's a Yeti that was engineered by the military.
Militarized Yeti. I'm on board.
There you go. You know? He's like half cyborg, half Yeti. They just took the DNA of like an African guy and like a Mongolian guy and someone from Kazakhstan, and they just mashed it together.
I like it.
Made him hairy. Training a super soldier. That's why he's hairy, so he could just exist in the cold for as long as he needs to. There you go.
Perfect.
Done.
We nailed it. Mystery solved, guys.
That's how you do marriage. That's how you do it. But anything else?
No, that was it.
All right, guys. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're making 1 to 3 videos a day. No one else is doing that. I'm gonna release this one now because I want it to come out at night. This is a nice date night. You can just chill, drink some wine, you know, hang out with your other, you know, whether it's your husband, your girlfriend, someone that you're just trying to, you know what I mean. You know, whatever relationship you have right now, whatever you're trying to do. I like this one.
Yeah.
Thank you for finding this. What do you want to do next? I want to either do giants. I want you to either do giants or we do some research on Freemasons and start talking about Freemasonry.
Yeah, we can definitely do.
I want to talk about Freemasons. I want to get some random guys walking up to me while I'm in the middle of the street and asking me questions about myself.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those things that's like, I don't know how much.
What?
Like you have, I feel like, way more knowledge than most people.
Yeah, I know
about Freemasons.
Yeah, I know a lot.
Are those things that you should share?
All the things I know?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
I found them out. I know the internet's been like scrubbed since the time of me going deep into it, but you should still talk about it. And I've had conversations with many Masons, you know. I was actually supposed to start a podcast. I was supposed to produce a podcast for a 32-degree Mason because I knew his son. His son was like...
Oh, I think you told me that.
Yeah, like I had no idea. Like his son, like this guy, just a dude I know. And then all of a sudden one day, he mentioned that his brothers, he's like, all his brothers are, his dad is, but he's not.
That's crazy.
And I was like, why not? He's like, I don't want to do that. He's just like not into it. And then he was talking about how his father wants to start something and start sharing the wisdom on a podcast. And I didn't meet his father, but I met up with him. We talked a little bit, but I never ended up doing it. But I was like, Really weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, it was really close. I was really, really close.
Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely look into that. But I think giants is a good one to do for next time. And then I'll need some more time for research for the Masons because it's going to take forever.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a big rabbit hole to go
You
down.
know what we'll look into? I think it's Manning. I think it's Manning P. Hall. There's a gentleman who wrote a lot of books, and he was so close to the knowledge of Masons that they just brought him in.
Oh.
Yeah,
He
because
just found out everything by himself.
the things that he knew and what he would speak of, they were just like, and he wrote so well that they were just like, why isn't he a Mason? Because when you sign up, right, you have to do a petition.
Yeah.
So everybody was just like, this guy's obviously good enough.
Interesting.
And they just brought him in.
Huh.
But I don't know if he stopped writing directly after he joined or if he kept going and just didn't speak about things. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Let's get
Coming
into
soon.
that. Let's get into that. All right, guys. Other than that, I am out.
Bye.